And we'll need a code name for you, too.
Why not the Jackal?
Who is the Jackal? Jackal's a bit of an enigma. He's a pretty extraordinary assassin and has skills and capabilities that are unrivaled. He looks at his profession almost like an artist, whether that's the mimicry, the languages he speaks, the sculpting of prosthetics to change the way he looks. He has all these kind of very specific skills and he charts them perfectly. So at his core, he's a bit of a chess player. One of the things that attracted me to this character was trying to unpack him. The Jackal is an iconic character, both in the book and in Edward Fox's version, and it was my dad's favourite movie, and I used to watch it at a probably deeply inappropriate age. I hope that whilst the series is updated, it pays great respect to the original. The Jackal, Edward Fox's version, became a sort of iconic fashion statement, really, you know, through his neckerchiefs and his tailoring of it. It was so sort of rooted in that period. And part of the joy of The Day of the Jackal is these beautiful locations and in the costuming. That peacocking quality that he has and that love of fashion was something that we really wanted to dig into. One of the things that was important for us was getting some absolutely timeless tailoring. It's just so beautiful to wear, and it's interesting that when you're playing a character who's so effortless, wearing clothes that really feel that rich, it makes it substantially easier. He's so meticulous that every element of his choices has to be perfect, down to what his suit bag looked like. I just didn't want anything to give away his seemingly effortless, but in fact very effortful taste. I often heard that actors put retaining their costumes into their contracts, and I'm deeply regretting not having put that into my contract on this job. One of the things that I think we all loved about the original movie and the book was the way that the Jackal is a chameleon, really. In the film, it was bits of hair dye and subtle things that shifted. But now, because of CCTV and because of face recognition technology, it felt like we could amp that up. And so we lent into this idea of the Jackal as a full-blown prosthetic artist. First thing you need to know about prosthetics days is they start really early. So this is who we're aspiring to be today. It's a high-wire act of trying to persuade an audience that I'm a 60-year-old chain-smoking German caretaker, and if it can work, that's wonderful, but I felt like if it didn't work, then the thing sort of falls apart from the outset. So it was really important for Mel and Richard and I that we gave it the time and the sort of meticulousness that it needed. Those first few days and the tests that we did with this makeup, I was having to watch all the rushes back to basically learn from your mistakes. Quite often something can look real from one angle and not from another. When television or film is at its greatest is when all the departments are communicating. As the actor, you're the person in the middle who tries to make sure all of those different qualities to a character are married together. What I love is there's an early scene in the series in which you watch the Jackal take all of this makeup off. So rather than it being a sort of big mask reveal, hopefully audiences will get to see the elements of the craft, really. Part of the prep for playing the Jackal, I went with Paul Biddis, the army specialist. We went and I learnt to sniper across a kilometre. It's so technical and it's all specific to the wind at different places. And so if you really look back on that shot, you'll see that he puts up the little red windmill. When you're making those long distance shots, you have to judge the wind at various different levels.
David and I have been working together on and off for 6 years. Each time I do a job, we talk about the physicality of the character, and the Jackal has got a specific one. I take that to him, he ruminates on it, and then he punishes me. On a job of this length, and with the specific requirements of playing the Jackal, not only how he looks, but also how he interacts in the world, it's been not only important, but sort of essential One needing to sustain the length of the shoot, which is the longest I've ever done. One of the things that sort of attracted and repelled me about these scripts when I first read them was the amount of acting in a different language I was going to have to do.
Écoutez, j'espère que ça peut se résoudre sans trop de problèmes.
Vous faisiez quoi à Munich?
Tourisme, c'est une belle ville.
I speak a bit of French, and I was excited about that because one of the things when you're acting is trying to get out of your own head, to not scrutinize what you're saying as you're saying it. And when you're speaking in a different language, you can't scrutinize that because you have no idea how it sounds. German, I do not speak a word of, so that was me being taught phonetically, sound by sound, for 6 months.
Meine Mutter hat keine Pläne gemacht. Sie hat mir nichts gesagt, was sie wollte.
The audience really have to invest in his skill set. He's an extraordinary linguist. He's a brilliant actor. He's an artist. You know, he sculpts prosthetics himself. He has all these different skills. So you've got to try and embed all that and make an audience believe some pretty far-fetched things.
The Day of the Jackal was one of the iconic movies that I was brought up on, and this whole experience has been so extraordinary because it just never crossed my mind that I would get to swim in this world. And he is an extraordinary, enigmatic, terrifying, complex guy, and getting to work with this character, with this extraordinary group of actors on a scale that's kind of unlike anything that I've worked on, it's been pretty special.